Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome back to the channel. And if you didn't sit around and sit through the collaboration with the Floorhammer podcast, you would have missed my 2020 hobby plans. So in this video, I'm going to save you the efforts that you may not have gone to, because it was quite a long video. I appreciate a lot of people want a short, sharp, sort of 7 to 12 minute video rather than an hour and a half. So if you didn't manage to catch that, and you want to know what's going to be coming up on this channel through 2020, then stick around for this video and I'll go through all of my project plans. But before we jump into that, I want to do a quick shout out to my latest Patreon. That's Edgar, aka Bonzamoose on Instagram. He's kindly joined my Patreon fund, which is much appreciated. Now, subtle plug, I do have a Patreon if you do want to support this channel financially. Under no obligation, the content will still come regardless. There's no paywall, there's no hidden features on Patreon at all that you're missing out on this main channel. So, but if you do want to, feel free to do so. The link is in the description below. But thank you very much, Bonzamoose, Adam, for joining the Patreon ranks of the Old Average Brit Gaming channel. It is much appreciated. I really, really do mean that. But without further ado, let's jump in to the 2020 projects. Now, project number one is the finishing of my Tzeentch Demon Forces. So if you've been following this channel, you know that I've been doing sort of Tactica guides, unit guides, in-depth series on those. I've also been playing with them as a sort of a secondary faction, if you like, to the Thousand Sons throughout 2019 and in fact 2018 as well. It's been my main 8th edition army, but I have got these Tzeentch Demon Forces. I did buy originally quite a large number of them. I tend to buy everything that I want right up front and then look at the big pile of plastic and cry. But another year of catch up. I want to get through the remaining units of my Tzeentch Demons. There's not that many, and most of the projects that I've got, in fact including this one for 2020, is a lot of catch up, a lot of finishing stuff that I kind of started then put to one side because it either didn't fit in my army or it's too many points, or you know, shiny model syndrome kicked in. But I do want to start with the Tzeentch Demons. Now, in those units to be completed, we have a Demon Prince. Now, this time I'm going to be making with the axe rather than the talons, because they all look the same. So I want to give him a big axe. I've got a couple of heralds, the Fate Skimmer, or the Fate Weaver, and the Change Caster, which are basically leftovers from the Start Collecting set. I've got some pink horrors that I want to do. I've got a lot of screamers. Now, a lot of these units came in those Start Collecting box sets, which I haven't got round to actually doing. And on top of that, I've got an Exalted Flamer as well. Now, as I said, most of these have got some progress in some shape or form on them, either built or part painted or primed. The only thing that hasn't been started, still fresh in that box, is the Demon Prince. But things like this fella, you can see that on camera, is one of the heralds. This is the Change Caster. So you can see progress is made, as in the fact that they are assembled in most way, shape or form. Project number two is the Thousand Sons. Now, much as the Chaos Demons, the Tzeentch Demon Forces, again, a lot of started stuff. But once again, shiny model syndrome, or they just didn't fit into a regular army. A lot of units have kind of been left by the wayside. Now, I'd probably describe myself more of a collector and painter than anything else, so I do like to have these fairly large collections, let's be honest. So I've got a number of units that I still need to add to my Thousand Sons that have been sat on the shelf just up here that I haven't got round to doing. So I've got a number of Exalted Sorcerers, I've got a number of Rubric Marines, a number of Scarab Occult, and a second Decimator engine. So just to give you an example of progress, the Decimator engine is mostly built. Just got the weapons to magnetise on the two arms here. This guy's going to have butcher cannons rather than the bombard, whatever they were called, the ones that do mortal wounds. The Rubric Marines, the Scarab Occult, are again mostly done. In this case though, the ones that aren't done are 3 Exalted Sorcerers, because you've got 3 in a box, and I bought 2 boxes. I built 2. I've got 1 or 2 more to do, and then that box set. So I've got 4 Exalted Sorcerers still to go. Project number 3 then is a return to Aeronautica Imperialis and get the rest of those planes complete. Now, I don't particularly think this is going to be a massive project because painting planes can be quite quick and easy. I've got the methodology down that I want to do. If you see the highlights video I did before Christmas of the Imperial forces, the Imperial Navy, as well as the Orcs, all I need to do is just sit down and focus and get those last planes done. So we've got some destroyers, some Marauder bombers, we've got a few more lightning still to do, we've got some Dakka jets, some Grot bombers, and the terrain. And then once all that's done, more importantly, is learn how to play the game. So as a collector, I tend to just collect the models that I like and the games that I like the look of, and then worry about actually playing the rules afterwards. But I do want to be in a position where I've got 2 playable and painted forces of planes, so we can actually get some games going between myself and my gaming buddies. Sticking with all things 8mm scale, Adeptus Titanicus. Now, I've got a whole bunch of stuff for this because I am a big Titan nut, as you would have guessed, from this channel and its content. But I've got some mini Knights still to do, mini Titans still to do. I don't want to paint everything that I've got this year. If I can, I will. That would be nice. But the reality is I want to make sure that I've got 2 playable mana pools, get the terrain done, and then exactly the same as with Aeronautica, is learn how to play the game. So I've got a gaming mat. I've done most of the terrain. I've still got a few more pieces to do. But as you can see on the screen, I've still got a number of Titans still to actually paint up, and some Knights as well. That'll give sort of 2 or 3 different mana pools per side, so that at least me and my friends can actually have a game. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to doing as well. And again, it's nice to be able to paint them in a different scheme. So my Legio Astorum, which is the majority of my Knights, I'm also painting the Chaos forces as well, the Furians. So it's good to paint something a little bit different than painting that blue and yellow all the time. Yellow and black it is. So yeah, that's another project. That's project number 4 for this year. Not wanting to leave the large Titans behind, project number 5 is another Titan this year. Now I've got a choice of which ones I'm going to do. Now they're all built, they are all primed, so that's the hard work done really. The painting is still to come. There's a lot of paintwork on these things, as you can see from some of the Warlord Titan that I've done this year, for example. But I've got a Warbringer, I've got some Warhounds, and I've got a Porphyrion, which isn't quite a full Titan, it's just a very large Knight. I definitely want to get one of those done. Again, it's just a bit of time and effort to be able to do those things. I've got the painting technique and style I want to use down, because I've done all that on previous Knights and Titans. This is one that I just want to get done and make sure that I'm still making progress through those huge Forge World kits that I like to tend to buy. So that's definitely on the list. However, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section below which one you think we should go for. Should it be just another boring Warhound? Should it be the Porphyrion, which is actually quite good in normal 40k, I'd say? It's a bit overpointed, but something that's a little bit different. But equally, the Nemesis class Warbringer Titan with its huge cannon. I'd love to see that get some paintwork on it as well. But that's definitely going to be on the cards for 2020. Project number 6 then. We are still going with projects. Is the Imperial Fist expansion. You would have seen from the back end of 2019, I reinvigorated my love for the Imperial Fist. Not just because the supplement came out. I've got a 30k large Imperial Fist army. Wanted to bring it into the 40k universe, add some intercessors, add some Primaris in general, as well as some new vehicles. So we've got intercessors, we've got new impulsor tanks, we've got Hellblasters. I'm reading this off the screen, which is why I'm looking here. We've got aggressors, and we've got some infiltrators to add to the Imperial Fist collection. Again, as with many of the projects that I'm doing this year, a lot of this is already built, a lot of it is at least primed, and in this case, a lot of it is already based yellow. So it's all come down to the detail work. So a lot of the hard work of, cleaning mold lines and building kits, that's all done. So it's just a case of sitting down and cracking through the paint jobs on these models. Sticking with the marine theme, project number 7, which is probably potentially the largest project outside of the Titan, is the Solar Guardians project. So my custom homebrew chapter, got plenty of models still to paint in this. Again, most of them are painted to a base coat standard, so they've all had I think I've gone with earth colour as their base coat, so a lot of those are done. And now we have, again looking at my notes, we've got Chaplain, we've got a couple of Lieutenants, we've got some Hellblasters, we've got some Dreadnoughts in here though. So we've got Relic Leviathan Dreadnoughts, Invictus Warsuits, Eliminators and Suppressors still to go. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the progress that's made, here is a Relic Leviathan Dreadnought. So you can see I've done most of the airbrush work already on this guy with these huge cannons on the side. So a lot of metal work still to go, the highlights still to go, some of the shading still to go. But you can see that's the kind of level of progress. In fact, let me grab this one over here. So you can see here, this is one of the Invictus Warsuits. Again, very similar stage, although this one's had the metal work and the greys done. So still got the pilot to go and some of the highlights and the final details. So that's the kind of status that these guys are in. So these aren't scratch projects. They are a lot of, I start things, move on to something new and shiny, and then, you know, see them sitting here on the desk and weeping into my my drink. But again, one of the things that I want to do is just like list out everything that I've got on the go that I want to complete. Project number 8, and we are still going with projects, is the Sisters of Battle. Now, at the time of recording, all the pre-orders are up for some of the new expansion kits that are coming out as part of the original limited boxed edition that we had just before Christmas. I was fortunate enough to get one of those £75 box starter games. And this project is to assemble and paint paint those models up. I'm not buying any expansion kits just yet, but I do want to get these ones done. There's what, 15, 16 or so models in that starter set. I think there might be a couple more. None of them are painted, none of them are assembled, they're still on sprue. So this is quite a timely project, but I want to try and practice a quicker method of painting. So I think these could be quite heavily reliant on contrast paints over like a metallic base. Now I know Rich from the Floorhammer podcast is going to be doing something similar. He's experimented with this concept already with his Primaris project with a sprayed metal base coat and then a heavy glaze using contrast paints. I think he's going to be going with a purple sheen on his. I'm not decided on what colours I'm going to go to yet, but obviously I'll be keeping you guys on the channel up to date with any progress on those lovely Sisters models. Finally then, project number 9. Who would have thought Tzeentch would have influenced the number of projects I wanted to run this year? Is Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, I've built and painted a large portion of this model when they first come out because I was a big fan of all that robotic tech. But I think I played maybe one game partially painted a long time ago, in fact before this channel even existed. But I've got a new paint scheme that I want to go with. I've gone with red and cream. I want to change that to orange and black. But this project, I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get round to it, but it is a priority for me this year to make another playable army. What it needs to do is a big audit. So a lot of these models are in storage, are wrapped up and put away. I don't even remember exactly what I've got. So I do want to come out and get all those models ready once I've cleared the desk and backlog that I've mentioned in those other projects, and get the Adeptus Mechanicus all started and, you know, sort of categorized, inventorized, come up with a list, and then prioritize exactly what I want to be doing, and then getting the paint down onto those models. Now, hopefully not a huge project, but we'll wait and see once I've realized how many models I've probably actually bought, but we'll see when we get to it. So there we go then, guys. That is 9 projects for 2020 that's going to be coming up on this channel. If you really want to stay tuned and keep up to date with all of those videos, all of that content that is coming throughout the year, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that little bell button to keep you notified every time I make an upload. It'd be much appreciated. But there we go, that is my 2020. It's kind of, I'm not saying it's a resolution for the new year, but I'm just kind of listing out the projects that I've got in my mind, and something for you guys to sort of bookmark and keep an eye on and see that progress through 2020. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you are looking forward to that content through 2020. And if you are, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall catch you guys on the next video.